Now, most people who are fans of the show will realize that I am a Yokai Watch mark. I love Yokai Watch. I love it in all of its iterations. Yokai 3 was perhaps one of my favorite games on the 3DS, and the 3DS had a bumper crop. So it was surprising to me. I haven't heard of Level 5 for a while. I know they did the Layton one, but suddenly Snack World Gold is upon us. It's a dungeon crawling game that they created in Japan, and I'm not sure whether they've turned it into Snack World from something different, or whether it was always Snack World, where it's this dungeon crawling game where everybody seems to have names named after snacks for some reason. Doesn't really make any sense. Like, they kind of explain it, but it's a bit more of a hand wave. But what it is, it's a solid dungeon crawler, and it seems to be a real genre that's coming out of Japan at the moment. Everyone's making a kind of top-down isometric dungeon crawling game with their different kind of twist on the mechanics. Penny Punching Princess, there's a fair few of them that had kind of just different ways of doing a similar kind of game. And this is Level 5's example of that. Now, this is the gold edition, so it comes with all of the extras and all the other stuff that goes with it. And it's a solid romp. Like, the main thing I can give it is that it feels like a solidly made Level 5 game. Now, your mileage may vary based on that sentence alone, but realistically, the gameplay is tight, if a little samey at times. The characters, like the designs are cute, and they're going, I don't know, it's like almost a Clash of Clans-y kind of design on the characters, which, you know, your mileage may vary again. So there's lots of elements of it that are either kind of taking from somewhere else or just refining better than anyone else has done it. And I think that's its strength and its weakness. It really is a solid little dungeon crawling romp, and it's fun to level up your weapons and just play it over and over again. Just do quick spells, quick quests. The quests will take you on average maybe 10 minutes, you know, so it's a great game to kind of pick up, play for a little bit, put it down, you know, farm materials, all that kind of stuff. But realistically, it is a pretty simple kind of premise. And later on, like, things open up and make it a little bit more interesting. But as far as Level 5 game, it's a tight, solid Level 5 dungeon crawling game. And that in itself should inspire some confidence. But the only thing that, again, I really come back to is the fact that how did I not hear about it? I'm one of the biggest Level 5 marks on the planet. How did I not hear about it? I brought Jamie on with me to discuss Level 5 and I guess the absence of Level 5 in the last couple of years.
Of course, because if you know, years ago we hear about things like Yokai Watch or Inazuma 11 or Professor Layton, and Inazuma 11 is still kind of a thing, Professor Layton is still just kind of a thing, and Yokai Watch is a dead franchise. But it's just a case of, like, I feel like everything they're doing is just like they want to make everything into like a franchise, and that's fine. But it's just like sometimes you don't need to, like, you know, like Ni no Kuni is a good example. It's like they've got the PS3 game, which is they developed with Studio Ghibli. It's great, awesome. They made a sequel, which okay, cool. Guess people were really hyped for it. Then there's an animated film for some reason on Netflix, and it's kind of terrible.
Yeah,
why?
Yeah, and it's the thing because they owned the 3DS. The 3DS was theirs. Like, I mean, they
even the DS as well.
Yeah, in the era, like especially when the 3DS started, there was no devs who were jumping on board because of the bad launch of it and the Wii U. Nintendo put all their resources into getting 3DS games out. And I would say Level 5 were one of the few that picked up, ran with it, and made the hardware their own. They did so many cool things with it. You know, you had what's it called? The one where you make weapons. Oh my god, I can't believe them.
I am blanking on it too.
Oh my god,
so many.
There's so many good.
There's many years ago. It's okay.
Yeah, and they made so many. Weapon Shop Doll, I must say, they made so many good games, and I'm like, now they're just like the only one that I know that they've made is obviously Layton, which you told me about earlier as well because
the Layton spin-off with Layton's daughter.
Yes, and then Yokai Watch 4 is confirmed,
which looks like a cool video game. Yeah. And then it's like, okay, is that coming to the West anytime soon? It's like, no, we don't know. It's like
there's not even I don't think there's a date attached to it, is there? It's
no,
like,
I mean, hell, it's like the first Yokai Watch game to like it sold so bad on the 3D on the Switch, it got ported to the PS4.
Yeah, and because it is that thing for me, like Yokai Watch 3 is genuinely a good game. Like it takes a lot of the problems that number 1 had, like the short longevity. Number 2 was in that weird spot where it was like kind of the Pokemon Yellow, if you will. Like it was just kind of the retelling of it and they added bits on.
Right.
So it wasn't great. 3, its own story, 2 main pro tags, 2 different story arcs. It's fun, it's dumb, it takes you to Akiba, it runs you through Tokyo, all that kind of stuff. So like it really saddens me that there's just no Switch presence for them. But I think it's right. I think you're right. It's because they try and make everything a franchise. Everything. They did so well with Yokai. They made so much money on Yokai. They sold so many toys, so many everything.
Like I bought you a thing as a joke. I'm like, you actually seem really appreciative.
Yeah, I love my Yokai watches. I've got literal both Yokai watches. I've got Japanese and English Yokai watches. Not that I wear them, but it's like they're cool to have around as like, you know, souvenirs and props. Not that I use many things for
No,
props.
not at all.
But it is that thing of it's just interesting to see how quickly that decline is setting, and I wonder what it's attributable to. But I think genuinely,
Like it just got fatigued. Like I was in Nagoya like 2 years ago, and I just happened to come across like a Yokai Watch shop.
Yeah.
Like a shop, an officially licensed shop for Yokai Watch, all boarded up. It's like, why is there a shop for Yokai Watch?
Yeah.
Like I know it was a big deal, but did it really need to get to that point?
Yeah, and it is that thing where it never. I think it tried to do the way the games and the anime and was it really anime? I guess it was more an American animation, wasn't it?
No, there was like I saw episodes of the anime in Japan. Like they had the voice of Kiryu Kazuma as like Jibanyan, which is like
what? Yeah,
Sure, why not?
I mean, that's pretty cool though. Like
yeah, but it's Yokai Watch.
Jibanyan starts tiger dropping cars and stuff.
Yeah,
you know?
look, I don't like Yokai Watch very much. I like mocking it, but still,
Yeah.
you get the point. But like, it's just weird where they are right now. It's like you'd figure that, everything they try to make a franchise of everything. I feel like you can't do that with everything these days. It's just like it's just too much.
Yeah.
Like you can't make fetch happen all the time if it makes any sense.
Yeah, and I think that is the thing. I think they've tried to bottle lightning too often, and they're starting to get shocked. And I hope that that's not the case because I really do want Yoko 4. I've always loved Inazuma 11. All their games are always great fun, but I just don't think they've embraced the next gen as well as they ever did the 3DS. And I think that is probably at its core their issue. As much as anything else, they just don't feel like they are comfortable on these other mediums that aren't the 3DS.
I mean, there's a new generation coming out, so
Yeah, what could possibly go wrong with a new set of consoles coming out? And look, maybe that's what they're waiting for. Maybe they're waiting for next generation. I don't know.
I mean,
I'm
Dark
just-
Cloud 3 maybe, Rogue Galaxy 2 maybe.
Well, I mean that is true. That is. Then we're going old school level 5 if we're talking. That's going that far back. But yes, I think you're right. I think it is just a franchise fatigue, especially for Yokai. I hope that it doesn't affect their future offerings, but I don't know. They've been very, very quiet this generation.